This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Farm Aid 40 is coming to Minneapolis. Join Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Dave Matthews, and more Saturday, September 20th at Huntington Bank Stadium. Celebrate 40 years of music, food, and family farming. Enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets now on our contest page. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common, he's 10 and B. Fast-paced, action-packed, very controversial first hour of the Common Man program, getting a lot of complaints. I love pushing people's buttons. And you know what it really is? It's whether you're with the hockey community or the basketball community or football, whatever. Anytime there's any, that I dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm, and dare to have it, to make it known, and dare to, push back at some of the efforts by the local teams or, critique their performances. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. They want to hear Ducky and Bunny. They want me to talk about, we'll give it that old college try and, someday things are going to get easier. Child. They want me to child it, and I'm not ready to do that. Time for 534. That's what it's time for.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score. It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory. Crack out a home run, shout a hip hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Chris Paddock tied the longest outing of his career, going 8 innings, giving up just 1 run on 4 hits while striking out 10 and walking 1 in the Twins' 2-1 loss yesterday in Seattle. Twins have lost 3 Paddock starts in a row, even though he's only given up 5 runs in those 3 games. Comment on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being Muhammad Ali and 1 being terrified Tenna. What is your confidence level when Chris Paddock is on the mound?
It's really good. We talked about Paddock last year and then early on this year where he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And so it's like, well, it was hard to even know what Chris Paddock had to offer as far as I could see. The Twins obviously, and it seems like their patience with him and their faith in him is now paying dividends. It's paid off for them because I think a lot of us were wondering, is this guy, is it even worth keeping a slot open for him? Should he have a spot in the rotation when he's having trouble? I mean, and even at the beginning of the season, he was going like 4 innings and then being pulled, and those 4 innings really weren't sparkling. So you're like, how much rope are we going to give this guy? How long is the leash? And now those, you mentioned there were some other numbers in the Fish Wrap Factory West and East about Paddock and his numbers, but you're right, you nailed it. It's like he's only had 5 runs. His run support has only been 5 in his last 3 games. So, and, he was, despite the loss, he was obviously pretty happy with how he performed because he's come a long way. Anytime you have an injury-riddled career and you spend, like, I got to think Royce Lewis has got to be, he even said it, remember last week where he said, he goes, says, I think it's over. It's got to be, think of all the success he's had all the way right, and he's even had success at the big league level. He's the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. For him to go through, he's going through last year when he hit his slump, and this year, it's got to be killing him. He was batting 9th yesterday, and then he got pulled for a pinch hitter.
You've got to be kidding me.
And
call that a fall from grace.
Yeah, that's a fall. Boy, that's the best way to phrase it. So, and Paddock's just on the other end of that. Paddock now is the team apparently never stopped believing in him, and whether it lasts or not, who knows? Tennessee, you know what they say? Baseball's a funny game, but he's been really, really good. This team, I just don't know what to think. I think they do have a ton of talent. Their starting staff's good. Their bullpen's good. They've got some everyday hitters. We saw it last year. They were one of the better teams in baseball till they got to that last month and a half of the season, and they went. If I remember correctly, they ended up having in that stretch of games when they first started to go south for them and get pear-shaped, they had like the third worst record in all of Major League Baseball. The only two teams that were worse, like the White Sox and somebody else, almost Rockies, like the Rockies now are the worst team in baseball. Those numbers, we'll talk a little bit about that. That's just astonishing how bad they are. But Paddock's pretty good. The team should give us. I like getting people going. Somebody, an emailer that we email back and forth more than most people know. He's really excited about the Twins, and I said, I gave him the old, they'll collapse, just wait and see. And I hope they don't, but until we get there and see what happens down the stretch, I'm not sure what to expect from them. But so far, so good, especially after this last month and a half, they've been really good.
Question number 2.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
Michael Russo of The Athletic reported that the Wild and forward Marco Rossi are currently at a contract impasse. According to Russo, the Wild have made 2 contract offers to Rossi, one for 5 years, $25 million. They did that during the winter. And a shorter-term offer last week. That 5-year offer in the winter was rejected by Rossi's side, and they have yet to counter last week's short-term offer. Rossi is eligible to sign an offer sheet with 31 other teams as early as July 1st, so there is a pressure point for the Wild to potentially trade Rossi if a contract isn't agreed to upon this month. Common, will Marco Rossi be traded within the next month?
Is 5 years, $25 million, is that about fair, do you think? Is he worth more or less? He rejected that. He didn't think that was.
Him and his side think he's worth more.
Okay.
I mean, he did have, 60 points this past season. He's still young. So, as a former first-round pick who was, top 10 pick, I'm sure they think he's projected to stay on the rise, almost like a Matt Boldy was, right? Matt Boldy has been putting up bigger numbers every single year as you've moved along. But I could see for the Wild where you like him enough where you'd sign him to like a 5-year, $25 million deal, but don't like him enough where you want to overpay for him. And I think that's kind of where they're stuck at right now. I think he's going to get traded.
Really? Huh.
I think they are going to go after I think Brock Nelson will be on this team in free agency, and he's a center. So now you're looking at Ross.
That's the guy you've been raving about, right?
I wouldn't say I've been raving about, but I just think he's going to be here.
Okay.
So now that potentially leaves Rossi unavailable to be one of your top 2 centers. They're going to have a young kid in Yurov from Russia who is signed, coming here next year as a rookie. They say they're going to start him at center. So that, he might end up switching to wing if he can't handle center. He's still a little bit on the slim side. But you're not going to pay Rossi $6-7 million a year and then block him out from being a top 6 forward. So, I mean, you need 2 to tango. You need someone else on the other. You need another team in the league to take him on and have it be worth it for you. And you want it to be the right deal, but I would lean towards I think he's going to be gone.
So if you trade him, what could you expect in return? Would you be looking for players, draft picks, both, money?
Well, that's the thing is I think the Wild feel like they can win now, right? It's Kaprizov in his prime. You're going to have some money to pay some other guys. The window is another 4 or 5 years, but you have a chance to turn things around right now. So maybe they just trade him for draft picks because that's the best they can get, and they just know he's going to be gone. But I think they would like to get a piece that would come in return and help you on offense now. A current NHL player.
Question number 3. It's time now for the Lowdown in Dinkytown.
North Carolina transfer Cade Tyson announced his commitment to the Gophers men's basketball team yesterday. The 6'7" guard forward averaged 7.9 minutes, 2.6 points, 1.1 rebounds in 31 games last season for the Tar Heels. He did score a season-high 23 points and 5 3-pointers in a 93-67 win over LaSalle on December 17th. Common, does the addition of Cade Tyson do anything for you?
I don't know. I saw that story as well, and then it was the kicker at the end was the entire list of transfers, that have signed with the Gophers. Nico Medved, the new head coach, he's got a lot of new pieces to play with. I just don't know how good those pieces are. Most seem to come from they weren't, a North Carolina, that's a blue blood basketball school, but the kid wasn't playing a ton, and that doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't any good. If you get to North Carolina, you must have some talent, and they're kind of, generally speaking, a loaded team. So I don't know. I mean, they need a new personnel, that's for sure, and they've got it. There'll be a curiosity factor with them for me. I think I'll be paying a little bit more closer attention. I've been paying very close attention to Gopher basketball the last couple of years because it doesn't seem to have been going anywhere but stuck in neutral or even going backwards a little bit. But now with a new coach who's had success everywhere else he's been, he's one of us, and a lot of new faces. We'll see. There's a curiosity factor. So I don't know what to think about the kid, but as long as he can dribble and chew gum at the same time, I think we'll be okay.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Controversial Vikings news on the other side of the break, and there's a couple of other... I do want to talk a little small market basketball. What will it mean for the NBA with the Pacers and the Thunder? Of course, the esoteric approach always has a different opinion. I think you'll hate it, but I'm going to go with it anyways. We'll do that next. Common Man program on the Fan.
Get ready to laugh. Comedy legend Bill Engvall is back at Treasure Island Resort and Casino on Friday, September 5th. The blue-collar comedy tour icon may have retired, but he just couldn't stay away from the stage. Here's your sign to catch him live for another round of side-splitting humor. Get all the details at TICasino.com.
Speaking of comedy, do you remember when Chart said Brady is done? I'm about to say something controversial.
Yeah.
I think Meatsauce is done. No! Tennessee, you watched Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, right? In which the Wolves offered zero effort, right?
Yeah.
Meatsauce offered less than that on Saturday. I didn't think anybody could put forth less effort than the Wolves did. The Meatsauce top.
And that's coming from you.
And that's coming from me.
Yeah.
Meatsauce was just... So Larry Mondella guy goes up, and he does his usual rock-solid job, but the crowd really ain't buying it. So he does 20. Sauce does 12. This is a 90-minute show.
Wow. Just 12?
We're 32 minutes into the show. Well, no, wait. He did 20. Yeah, we're 32 minutes in the show, which means I got to do about an hour.
You've got to be kidding me.
Now, I've got an hour. Only 8 minutes of it is funny, but I got an hour. I even repeated a joke. It's a new bit I've come up with. Say, let's see if you like this joke better the second time. And then I did the Meatsauce vasectomy joke. Well, it's not my joke. It's more Amsterdam guy's joke, but it's really funny. It gets big laughs. It even got a bigger laugh, I think, the second time. But I think it's over for Sauce. I really do. I mean, think about it. He went from being the headliner to being booed off stage.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't know the ins and outs on how to put together a stand-up comedy routine and performance.
Apparently we don't either.
Like, don't you know beforehand, hey, I'm up on the stage for X amount of time and I need to have X amount of material for that time?
It's supposed to be how it works.
So what's the time he's supposed to be up there?
Well, put it this way, Tennessee. You're further along in your comedy career than Meatsauce is in his.
But like, so... Was he supposed to do 30 minutes? What's the number?
He was supposed to do, he's supposed to do about 30. Yeah.
When you get to 12, is he just going, this isn't going well, so I'm just going to get off stage?
That's correct.
Okay,
All right,
it.
It's time for me to go.
Got it.
And it's like, I was about to go to the bathroom. the only thing bigger than my ego is my prostate. I didn't even get a chance to go to the bathroom one last time because all of a sudden I heard him go, all right, that's it for me. I got to go. I'm like, oh. And then Larry Mondello guy had spied me, because the bathroom was right off, where he was standing way back in the back of the room. And he saw me. So he did a quick double take. I guess, is Common going in there to go how long will he be in there, And I had to go in there. Meatsauce just left me nothing. Just nothing. No! And I just don't know. I don't know if I can work with him anymore.
He's family first now.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's priority, and good for him. I applaud that.
Faith, family, funny, not anywhere there.
Yeah, family ahead of funny.
Yeah, way ahead of funny. Way ahead of funny. But
do you think he'll ever be able to recover from this?
I don't know. I don't know if his interest is there anymore. I think he's put it this way: if they had like comedy teams and he was in free agency, I don't think he'd get any nibbles at all. I don't think anybody would try. I mean, I guess he could open. He could, because he's close. An opener is usually 8-10 minutes, and that's about what he's got right now.
Could he MC?
I don't think he could. I was just going to do a couple of Meatsauce. It probably doesn't. Well, then when he leaves the stage, my first 10 minutes is Meatsauce cheap shots. Power Trip Morning Show cheap shots. I
always love that one.
But anyway, have you? By the way, Meatsauce was here and he said, "Rip me, just really rip me." I said, "Okay, that's what you want." So hopefully he was listening right now, and I just gave it to him hard. Just ripped him. So where was it? Hold on. I think there was some misunderstanding in the Paul Allen project today. I'm still looking for, we used to have intercepted emails, which I guess that doesn't really have a lot of alliteration. So I guess we can just go with intercepted text messages, right?
One said inbox. Well, yeah, I just said you played the same open, though.
Yeah, right.
The open's so good.
Could you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Time now for Paul's
Intercepted!
emails. Now, with a look inside the inbox of Vox, here's the Common Man.
I will read half a dozen of them that came in this order quickly. They said, inside the NBA team are all moving to the show on ESPN. I thought I heard that the whole TNT crew was going to ESPN. Did I hear that right? The whole inside the NBA crew is moving to ESPN ABC next year. The entire TNT crew and show got picked up by ESPN. They're staying together. They're going to ESPN. Nordo, the whole TNT crew is going to ESPN. Were they not aware of that?
Apparently they weren't.
They just thought that was it. Bon voyage, dim the lights, draw the curtain, and fade to black.
Well,
they are moving on. They are just leaving. The NBA on TNT no longer exists. After all those years, they apparently didn't have they didn't have enough money in order to, because the broadcast rights came up again, and now NBC is getting back into it a little bit, ABC and ESPN. So TNT's gone, but you don't. I mean, how many times have you heard me say this? And I think you agree with me, because as you rub your little dirty little hockey, your what do we call them? Your not dirty hockey gloves, your grimy or whatever, it's your grimy little hockey gloves together. I would rather listen and watch Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny the Jet talk about the NBA than watch the NBA. I mean,
100%.
100%. They're just brilliant. I just think I get such a kick out of them. And so you're not going to break up that group. You're not going to make them. They made them an offer. I'm sure they couldn't refuse. I don't care what you think of Stephen A. Smith and all the other people on ESPN.
They don't compete.
They just don't.
No.
I'm sorry, man. I mean, and maybe not everybody likes Kenny, Shaq, and Kenny the Jet. I'm sure I'm sure there are people that don't like him as much as I do. But yeah, so they are going to continue.
But even in the conference finals, right? The Eastern Conference Finals were on TNT. Mm-hmm. The Western Conference Finals with our Timberwolves were on ESPN, and the level of difference, not even just that show, but like Kevin Harlan was the announcer on TNT.
Yes.
And then you go to like the ESPN, no offense to the guy, but like you ain't Kevin Harlan.
No.
Nobody is.
That's correct.
But it was just like high level Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, I like as an analyst.
Yes.
I thought he was good. And then you got the halftime show and the post-game stuff.
And is it a Van Gundy? Because there's two Van Gundys.
Yeah, I think Stan is now the one on this one.
Yeah.
But it was like, of course, the Eastern Conference Finals gets the TNT broadcast, and we get ESPN.
All because of the New York Knickerbockers. And now the New York Knickerbockers, the largest media market in the country, maybe the world, has now been eliminated. And that leaves us with Indianapolis, which I don't know what their population is. It's a small town compared to, your New York, Chicago. I think it's even small compared to Minneapolis, but maybe not. Maybe they're on the same level.
Indianapolis is number 25.
Okay. And where's OKC?
OKC. Oklahoma City is 47.
Wow. Let's do this. We're up against a break. Let's talk about what you think that means. I teased. I didn't pay off the tease. I was going to do that tease, but I needed to rip Meatsauce first. So that's why I can't do it. That's why I don't have, architectural radio where we don't, just said I'm going to do that because other things come up. Like Sauce wanted to get ripped, and I did. So we'll break. We'll come back. And then I got some other baseball notes for you that raise some interesting issues. So we'll do all of that and more here on the Common Man program on the Fan. Am I supposed to laugh there? Oh. Is minus 750 a heavy favorite?
Yes. Very heavy.
That's what the Oklahoma City Thunder are via Caesar Sportsbook in Las Vegas. Minus 750, the Pacers plus 525. The Thunder, I think did you say they were the 47th largest market in the United States, television and radio market? And I think
yes.
Indianapolis is 25. Everybody assumes that the National Basketball Association, their broadcast partners, particularly television, and their advertisers wanted the New York Knickerbockers to advance to the NBA Finals. And I don't doubt that. I mean, you would have New York, I think 12 million people reside in the 5 different boroughs. I think it's like 12 million. Not all of them would be tuned in, but a good portion of them would watch. And, Mr. Advertiser, we got a lot of eyes watching this. Look at how many people we have watching, and that's how it works. And it makes you wonder what the numbers will be for. Last year it was Boston against who? Who did they beat? I don't even recall who they beat.
Oh, Dallas. That's who we lost to, yeah.
Dallas is their top 10 market, right?
Oh, yeah.
Boston is...
Dallas is 4.
4. Where's Boston?
Boston's 9.
9. So you got 4 and 9. I don't know what the numbers are. Be interested to know. And was that a blowout? Did that go? I don't even remember how... I
think Boston took care of them pretty handily.
I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
I've rarely watched the NBA. I haven't watched an NBA final since the days of McHale, Bird, Magic, Worthy. Zero interest in it. Zero. I did not. This is the truth. I talked about it. I didn't see LeBron James play basketball till his 10th season. I'd seen a highlight, but I never sat and watched LeBron James play basketball. Just another guy that can dribble. Just shut up and dribble, as some crackpot conservative talk show commentators once said about LeBron James. Just shut up and dribble. That's kind of the way I was with it. But now that the Wolves they got to the Western Conference semifinals 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, and then last year, would it be 2 or 3, whatever, they got to the Western Conference finals. Then they got to the Western Conference finals the last 2 years. And because of that, my interest in the NBA has been, I'm paying closer to the NBA than I ever have, really, to be honest with you. And so I'm actually curious to watch. This is going to be strange for me, Tennessee. As we speak, and this could change, especially if it's a really good Rockford Files episode, or maybe Deuce wants to sit down and watch some Gilligan's Island. Barring those two developments, I might watch some of the finals because I have found that I I like some of the storylines. I like some of the players. I mean, I know everybody wants to see LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, you name all the big stars, Antetokounmpo. People want to see those players. Those are household names. Guys that just have a nickname or one name, those are the ones that draw.
Greek freak.
Yeah, they draw the eyeballs, right? I don't know how just the general sports public that likes a little bit of everything, right? I like a little basketball, a little football, a little hockey. I like all sports. Sometimes I'm more interested than other times. I don't know how much SGA is. I don't know how even though he's the league MVP, how many people do you think just average sports fans even know? Maybe, SGA, Shea Alexander. But he's been fun to watch. I know he's what do they call him, the free throw merchant?
Yeah.
He does a lot of flopping. He's a terrific player. He's fun to watch. They got other players on that team that can play a little basketball, right? Well, we saw it. I mean, the Wolves saw it firsthand. They lost 4-1. And Indiana, I'm not quite as familiar with the Indiana club because I've just caught bits and pieces of their games. I watched more when they were playing my guy, Bodega Cat, who he still does have defensive liabilities, tend to be. I hate to say it. I wished he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a lack of effort. I just think he's kind of clumsy and awkward and can't play defense real well. I think he tries. I just don't think he's very good. He seems like sometimes he has.
It was weird because against Joker, he was the best defensive player you could put on him. But yeah, I mean, if anyone, if there's a switch where there's a smaller guy who can handle the ball and move it, he can't. Yeah, I mean, there was a number I saw in one of the recaps of the series with the Pacers. And when he and Brunson were on the floor at the same time, defensively, they just weren't, that team wasn't very good. And it was mostly, and Brunson, because how tall is he? Is he 5'4", 5'3"? He looks 5'4", 5'3" compared to all the giants out there. He's a hell of a shooter. I mean, the guy can create his own shot. He can hit threes. But I don't think defensively he's 6'2". 6'2". Defensively, he doesn't seem really great. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe those that aren't casuals, those that understand the league, have a deeper understanding than I do, can explain to me that maybe Brunson is a better defensive player than I give him credit for. But they defensively, and there was already, I saw a couple, and again, clickbait could it be? There's already talk that it might be time to trade Bodega Cat again, because offensively he's good. Defensively, he doesn't offer much. And then I saw another. I didn't even read it. I saved it because this. Is it time for the Knicks to part ways with Tibbs? Got to a conference final.
Well, that's what I would have thought, but I don't know. Again, it's that. And look what Denver did. They got rid of Malone. And Malone
won him a title 2 years ago.
Didn't he? Wasn't he the coach when they won a title?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what to make of it, but I think I'll watch a little of the NBA Finals. I do think it would be difficult for the Pacers to beat the Thunder. The Thunder have what I love in any pro sports team, and that's the number one ranked defense. And people always like to chide me. And I think people just troll. Because me, tend to be. I preach defense all the time. Tom Kelly, great quote. If you pitch and play defense, you give yourself a chance to win the ball game. Defense wins championships. You win the game in the trenches, all these things. And I just think it's so true that look when the Baltimore Ravens won there. I mean, you don't see a lot of offenses that get nicknames. I know we had the greatest show on turf, and then we had the greatest show on turf, and then we had the greatest show on turf. Do you remember what you've got? Purple People Eaters, Doomsday Defense, Killer Bee, Steel Curtain,
Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom. Did the Ravens have a nickname? I don't
or was
think
it Legion of Boom?
Boom. Did the Ravens have a nickname? I don't think they needed it, other than they're just really, really good defensively. If you'll remember, everybody does. Was it the 2000 team? Was Burke a part of that one that won the championship? And they won like 3 games in a row and didn't score a touchdown.
I think Burke was a part of the Flacco team that won the big game. Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
He was still with the with the purple during the first run.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he was here in 98 too, right? When did he leave? I don't remember. But anyway.
I would guess like mid-2000s.
There was a stretch where I think the Ravens won 3 games in a row and didn't score offensive touchdown in any of those games.
Just 1 on field goals and defensive touchdowns.
How good is your defense when you're that good? So that's why Indiana, they play defense start to finish. They go 10 deep so guys can get a blow. Holmgren, what's that kid's phrase? He's a unicorn.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It means he's just different? Is one of a kind or it's different? Yeah. And he is. He's got the skills of a point guard, and yet he's 7'1", can block shots. They just got a hell of a team.
Well, and you're bringing up the OKC's defense. It kind of reminds me of Bill Belichick during his run with the New England Patriots. Defensively, like he was a defensive mastermind. That was his strength. And to your point, he'd always do the crossword puzzle bit. Mm-hmm. But he would always start every scheming of the opponent's offense by how do I take out their best player? And I feel like OKC has a little bit of it. We saw that in that series, right?
Yes.
Like Julius Randle, the previous 2 series, got whatever he wanted offensively. Anthony Edwards, the previous 2 series, when he was engaged, got whatever he wanted offensively. And Julius in the OKC series looked like me handling a basketball. And Anthony Edwards had to work extremely hard for whatever he got. So, they took out top 2 guys, said, all right, well, you got to beat us with Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels. That's how you're going to have to beat us. And as good as Halliburton has been throughout this postseason, I have a feeling OKC is about to do the same thing to him.
Well, Pat, the officiating guy, I think he sent me the video or at least a still shot, and I didn't see it yet, but he claims that when they were announcing the Eastern Conference Finals MVP,
I saw it. Yes.
Halliburton thought he was going to get it.
He took like a step or 2 ahead.
And then they gave it to Siakam instead. And Siakam didn't even put in any effort. He admitted it. The other team tried harder than us.
Siakam's obviously maybe he's not underrated because he just won MVP, but he's a darn good all-around player.
He's really good. I'd take him.
And I know Neesmith got some injury stuff going in that series against the Knicks, but he can hit the 3.
Breaking news, National Hockey League says because Zach Parise played in that game, that now a little-known NHL rule has been triggered. It adds $14 million to the Wild's salary cap number in each of the next 2 years. Because he played a game here in Minnesota, so that's unfortunate. So I guess we're not out from under that onerous...
It's funny stuff.
Yeah, that's what I just had to do it. As bad as things were for us at Birdie Golf, maybe the worst was Larry Mondello guy. Someone after the show came up to Larry Mondello guy. I'm not making this up, and thought he was Chris Hockey. Poor Chris Hockey. He thought he was Chris Hockey. No, he's Larry Mondello guy. Tim Flynn.
I don't see the resemblance.
I don't either.
He just thought because Meatsauce was there that other members of the Power Trip were there?
I guess so. If you're wondering about Larry Mondello guy and his comedic styling, he's been described as a fat Jim Gaffigan, I guess is the way you would probably describe him. So tend to be, I don't know. I know you're not a basketball guy. My guess is your 55-inch Toshiba Regson won't be locked in on the NBA Finals much. You think you'll watch some, or what's your interest level?
Well, with the Wolves, I was watching every game,
yes.
But I have stuff where schedules get in the way, but then I just DVR it and I would watch it later at night. I don't know if I would say if I was around, I would definitely watch OKC Indiana, but I don't know if I would DVR it and watch it at 10 o'clock at night if we got baseball games going on.
I'm proud of you, and that's why you favor the show so well. What if
we're also going to have NHL games on the other nights.
What if you say you DVR'd one, had some stomach issues, and couldn't sleep? Would you get up and watch the game then? Speaking of the NHL, what are the odds there? Is Edmonton or Florida the favorite? Is it overwhelming?
I thought I had seen that when it first came out, it was literally like a tie. It was a coin flip. They were both at like -110. I think Edmonton has is a very, 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 very slight favorite at this juncture.
Give me a little background. I'm going to ask you some questions, and maybe you can pique my curiosity a little bit that I might deviate. No, I'm not going to do that. That I might at least pay a little bit of attention. Florida has won a couple of cups in the past.
They won last year.
Last year, okay.
Yep.
Obviously, if you return to the Stanley Cup Finals, you're pretty good. Do you think they're better than last year? Have they added to it, or is it basically just the same? They just ran it back again?
Where they did add is they picked up Brad Marchand before the trade deadline, who was longtime Boston Bruin, big time agitator, annoys the other team, but also can score at a high level. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer, and so that's where they've added. And they kind of have a lot of those types of players. Like, I mean, Tkachuk is one of those where just super annoying, agitating power forward who can put the puck in the net.
Gadflies.
Yes, they've got some good gadflies on that team. And then you got Barkov, who just won the Selke Award for best defensive player or defensive forward in the National Hockey League. Bob is always, when he's going, as good as any goaltender in the NHL. He's been inconsistent at times, but it seems like come playoff time, he finds his game.
Who's that?
Bob, Sir Bobrovsky.
Oh, didn't we face him one time in the playoffs? Or I got a different guy?
No, we did not face Bob.
Who was the other guy? There was another guy I thought that was a Bob that we faced a few years ago. I don't remember now. What about...
And then Edmonton, so these two teams played each other last year. Edmonton gave him a heck of a series. The thing went 7. And even though some think Connor McDavid is overrated, they've still got the best player in hockey. And Draisaitl's obviously maybe the best number 2 on a team in all of hockey. I think for Edmonton last year, they got to the door. This might be now the time. Now, it's going to be a hard matchup because Florida's as tested in the playoffs as anybody and knows how to win in those situations. But I think last year might have been a knock on the door. This might be a slam the door in situation for Edmonton. They look very good, taking down Dallas in short order in the Western Conference Finals. Like you can't take a penalty against them or they'll bury it on the power play. And they are just getting better goaltending than they were in previous seasons. That's always been the knock on Edmonton is their goaltending, their defensive play, and now they have the ability to win 3-1 type games. So I would expect a pretty darn good series. I think.
Who do you like if you're a betting man?
I think Edmonton just has a little bit more to play for, and it's the best player in hockey who needs to win a cup to kind of cement the legacy a little bit. So I'm going to go Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers.
How long has McDavid been in the league now?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't feel like he's super. I mean, he came in at he was
19,
he was superstar.
20?
Yeah, right out of. Well, they don't do high school, do they? But
right out of juniors.
Let me look it up quick. I mean, he's been around for a while. I mean, he's 28 years old, so he's still in the prime of his career. But yeah, I mean, that's 10-year run.
Who's got home ice?
I believe Edmonton does.
Does that make a difference?
No.
I don't think so.
I think home ice is virtually means nothing in hockey.
TNT does hockey, right?
It's not like in the NFL where crowd noise can impact your ability to communicate at the line of scrimmage. In the NBA, I do believe that while crowd noise doesn't really play a part in how the other team performs, I do think it plays a part in how the referees call games.
Okay.
I think that's actually been proven, like statistically, that referees call more fouls in favor of the home team than they do road teams. Okay. In baseball and hockey, I think it's means nothing.
Which fan base, Edmonton or Florida, when their team is on the power play, likes to chant shoot, shoot, shoot more than the other? Do they both do it?
Well, they probably don't have to because both of them. You don't need to tell Connor McDavid how he should play on the power play. You just go ahead and you trust him. You know how Paul Allen had just hashtag faith that Rick Spielman was going to make all the right moves?
Correct.
I think that's what you got to do when Connor McDavid's on the power play. You just have hashtag faith. I don't need to tell him what to do here. It's not like Zeev Booyam where he's got the puck at the point. We got to scream to him to let him know what he's going to do because apparently he doesn't know. And we're such intelligent hockey fans here.
Where did Spielman land? Isn't he like a consultant to one of these NFL teams? Our guy Rick, not the other Spielman.
Is he in the Jets organization?
I think he might be with the Jets. I think he landed a gig there. I don't think consultant makes as much.
It says his Wikipedia just says he's an executive for the New York Jets.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Because I don't think consultant makes as much, but it's a lot
he's
less.
Senior football advisor.
That's a great gig. What does that even mean? Senior football advisor.
You advise on football.
I guess. Another one for you. Did you hear? There's so much controversy going on in every sport. There's always a controversial story. Let's just quickly talk about. You were the one that sent me. Somebody sent out a tweet, and then you sent me a link to it or a screenshot, whatever. Scotty Scheffler has won 3 tournaments in the past month, and the Colorado Rockies have won 3 games in the last month.
Both won the same amount in the last month.
Think about that. The Rockies are... there's a story that I saved, or I found on my handheld, which doubles as. Headline alone, it really is about all you need to know. Rockies set modern baseball record with 50th loss of the season. They're on pace right now for just 25 wins in 2025. Let's only win 25 in 2025. Let's only win 25 in 2025. This could be the team that we adopt as, look, we want to win twins. We want to score that whole thing. But this could be the club that we want to continue to follow because you know how I feel. Historically good, biblically bad, and this is biblically bad. I want to dive into that one a little bit. There's another baseball story where there's a certain a member of a baseball team catching some flack, and I'm going to defend him. And we'll do those 2 stories plus more on the other side of the break. We call this the Common Man program, along with Tana B, right here on the Fan.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.